What's up, everybody? It's Frex. We got Kevin here to talk about maybe one of the most fun basketball games we've watched in a really long time. USA versus Serbia. Wow. USA comes back. They were getting crushed the entire game. They come back in an unbelievably fun to watch fourth quarter with our three greats, LeBron, KD, and Steph, ignoring their coach, not running plays, and just doing their thing. And they won that game. I mean, I've been a little bummed that this hasn't turned out to be the greatest international basketball competition as was billed. Some of the games were blowouts. A lot of the games have been blowouts.
Yeah.
But yesterday, we got two amazing games. We got France beating Germany.
That's
close. Right. And then we got this amazing game from Team USA. Perhaps the last great quarter from our top three greats of this generation.
Totally.
Speak on it.
I mean, one, you can argue in a lot of ways it's a top 5 greatest basketball games ever played.
Okay.
For multiple reasons. Just for the sheer fact that the only other time you see this many great players on the court at the same time is in an all-star game, and there's no competition in the all-star game. So in this game, you had 5 MVPs all on the same court in crunch time, back and forth in a shootout, a nail-biter. I was yelling at the TV. I was going through every emotion. I really thought the USA was going to lose.
Me too. I texted you. I said, wait, is it actually possible that they're going to lose?
And I said, yes.
Yeah. You just wrote back, yes.
It had everything you wanted out of a basketball game in an international setting. But the sheer fact of getting that many legendary basketball players playing at that level in a competitive game, I don't think you'll ever see anything like that. Even the 92 Dream Team had a lot of great players on it, but they were blowing teams out. It was never competitive in the way that this year has proven in some of the early prelim games and now with the Serbia game. I mean, it really could go down as one of the greatest basketball games ever in hindsight. When you look back at it, I mean, going into the fourth quarter down 13 with the 3-time MVP on Serbia just having his way around the court, passing the ball, and for the USA to come back with those 3 guys particular, and Embiid. We got to give Embiid his flowers. He was the fourth wheel.
I'll get to Embiid in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a bit, but he was the fourth wheel of this historic game. I just don't – for a generation of basketball fans, those are the 3 guys of the generation.
Mm-hmm. And these were the stakes. The stakes, like I felt in my bones the stakes of that fourth quarter, because going into this Olympics, there was no doubt that Team USA was coming home with the gold. And then all of a sudden, in an elimination game versus Serbia, where some guy named Bojan Bogdanovic just goes out of his body and starts hitting every possible shot. And the U.S. was down by 20 at certain points.
It was 17, I think.
17.
Or maybe 19. I don't know. I think 17.
Joker, carried just by the love of his nation,
and
powers through. And the beard and the love of his nation were trouncing the United States of America. And I just sat there. I was like, what happened? I was literally envisioning us having to do this pod
with them losing,
with them having just lost. I was like, wait, what happened? I texted you. I was like, they went out. They went out last night. I'm telling you right now, I saw on social media, Ant had a birthday party.
Yeah.
They're playing games. They're all coming out of
restaurants. We talked about this too. We talked about if they were going to party, and when they actually do party, it gets on video, it's leaked, and it leads to nearly one of the worst collapses in USA basketball history.
I was pissed. I was like, they fucking went out.
If they lost that game, they would be known as the meme team.
If they had lost that game, the videos of Ant in the club with Gunna
It would
The
have been.
videos
Oh
of
my
Devin
goodness.
Booker with Suni Lee from the gymnastics team. I mean, the videos of LeBron and Tatum coming out of a restaurant with the security guards holding their wine glasses. They get in the car and then the security guard hands them back the wine glasses so
Did
they
you
can
see
sip while they drive. I go, if they, those, that's what was
LeBron?
running through my head.
LeBron was with Tom Brady. They were like shaking hands, dapping up. Oh,
I think that they knew that.
at some point you saw it, the realization come over them. I mean, we can so like bigger picture, and then there's like the game itself. Bigger picture, it would have been the worst loss in the history
Of basketball.
of basketball. Regardless of like you're in the NBA and there's an upset. I mean, everyone on the team 1 through 15 is a pro. So that's different. But like to lose to essentially a bunch of semi-pro players when you're the USA and you have
who is this Bojan Bogdanovic guy?
I mean, he's an NBA player.
Who does he
He's
play
great.
for?
He's on the Atlanta Hawks. He used to be on the Kings. He's a grinded out
great.
player. He's good. He
unbelievable.
shoots threes. I wanted a lot of teams that I root for to get him. And I mean, look, if they lost, it would have been a nightmare. I was dreading it. I mean, it would have been so bad. I can't even imagine.
So just the feelings that we're describing while watching it, that's the stakes that we gave this game. And this is an elimination game. You lose, you go home.
But with
and
that,
it really, really, really looked like the US was going to lose.
But with that, the fact that there was true doubt, that there was real doubt, that I was sitting there going, "Oh my God, they're going to lose," made it so much better.
Yep. So that's what I'm saying. So then the fourth quarter comes, and I think KD, LeBron, and Steph felt the same way. They said, "Oh my God, we're gonna lose."
Well, it's also the team.
This is our swan song.
Yeah, it was also the team. I think Kerr just went away from the rotations. He clamped down to like 8-man rotation, or I should say 7. He really was only subbing in like AD. I guess he put Bam in and Booker. But he really clamped down on the rotation. He just went with the guys he trusts in the big moments, and I think that helped as well. The tide really started to turn in the third. The problem was you can see LeBron got serious in the third too. The problem was that Serbia was still hitting shots, but the turnovers and the bad threes that the U.S. were taking, it was really frustrating to watch because it got to this point where they're like, oh, it felt like they were thinking the only way to win is to shoot out of it. Instead of being like shut down D and go for twos and hit clean open threes. And it wasn't until the fourth that like they clicked into good basketball. I think Steph deserves a lot of credit in quarters 1 through 3.
He was on the whole time.
His threes were keeping them clawing in it. They were keeping the string from getting cut to where it became like a 25-point blowout. It was always in that, oh, it's 17, now it's 13. Oh, they cut it to 11, it's 9. Oh, it's back to 15. Then it got back to 12. Like it was keeping it close when they had zero offense coming from the bench. And so that was great. You can argue, and I've heard this point, that his defense was causing a lot of the problems in the beginning as well. But I think you can make that case with a lot of players, and all the credit to Steph to like keeping them afloat to get to the fourth. And then I think the person I look at in the fourth quarter, you can't underestimate what LeBron did by taking the number one defensive role of I'm going to guard Joker and I'm going to be the point guard, and really setting the pace of the rest of the game, slowing it down, getting his guys to the spots to pass for them to get good shots. I mean, he assisted on a lot of those late baskets by just making the smart play. And sometimes the smart play is let's get Curry the ball now at the top and let him hit a 3.
And the last 3 minutes of that game, and you were so exciting to watch. I don't think I was standing up at home.
I was running around my apartment yelling.
And when they got the win, what they win by 3 points?
No, they won by 4, I think, 95-91.
They ended up winning by 4 points. And those shots of like those photos and videos of LeBron, Steph, and KD, like what do you call it when the guys get together and they like flex their muscles? Does that have a name? whatever.
I mean,
they're just
hyped up. It's just full hype. It's full hype.
They're
yeah.
slapping each other in the chest and the head. You know, the guy thing. And they're so intense, and the look in their face is like, that's the first time in a long time any of those guys have played exciting basketball. Because I've only been following for 2 years. I've only seen Steph on a bad team. I've only seen KD on a bad team. I've only seen them in bad moods. I've only seen them not happy to be playing.
Yeah.
So to see this, and they all said after the game, they said that was the most fun I've had in a long time.
That's why I said, like, when we look back on it, when they do the doc on this, when the 30 for 30 comes out in 5-10 years, whenever it is, this makes it this game made the entire Olympic basketball tournament what it was.
This game aside, it's been a real fucking snooze fest.
It's just you've known what's going to happen the whole time, minus what France has been doing on the other side, which has been quiet, which will set up a great finale to this thing. I mean, the U.S. is just, you know, everyone you thought was going to lose or win, you know, there was a few teams that could have won, but it's pretty predictable. This was the first time where it was like, is there going to be a change in the power of world basketball? And is it going to be led by Nikola Jokic? Like,
and that was like a real narrative that started developing in my head. There's one thing I want to touch on though. Embiid had a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I have to issue a retraction and an apology to Joel Embiid. I still don't like him, and I still don't like to watch him play. However, we stated on a previous episode that why didn't he play for France? Because there's this whole narrative going where every time he gets the ball, the French crowd boos him. And it all goes back to 2022 when the head of French basketball and the president of France helped Joel Embiid get a French passport and French citizenship. And they say that the deal was that he was going to play for France. He says that was never the deal. So there's a discrepancy about what the reasoning was that they got him this passport. That same year, he also becomes a U.S. citizen. He's from Cameroon originally, so the number one logical place, and what he has even stated, was that he would have loved to play for Cameroon, but they did not have a basketball team that would qualify. I thought, just because of all this conversation about France this, France that Joel Embiid was like French, and that he had lived in France or something.
Yeah.
So I looked into it. He moved from Cameroon to the United States, to Florida, when he was a teenager, and he's lived here ever since. He has never lived in France, and he is not French. So we were wrong to say that there's any reason he should have played for France. Cameroon was previously a French colony. So if you think about it, it's actually kind of fucked up that the French people are booing him every time he gets the ball. It's like, he doesn't owe you shit just because Cameroon was a colony of yours. Part of the reason he said he didn't want to play for France was because of how bad the relationship between Cameroon and France is, because of their history of the colonization. So Embiid should be playing for the U.S.
Or Cameroon.
But U.S. makes perfect sense. And I have to retract what I said before, because I was like, oh, it should have been Cameroon or France. I don't know why he's on U.S.
Yeah.
He's not French.
Okay, that's good.
Never lived in France.
Lived in the
U.S. since he's a teenager. With that said, can't stand watching him play. But happy to have him here.
He's annoying. But
also, the other piece of it was that the French guys were not welcoming towards him.
Right.
And the U.S. guys are guys he plays with, and he knows them. So he's like, why wouldn't I play? Like, these are my friends.
And to add the final,
to Joel Embiid.
We apologize. But to add one more thing, to give him his credit, he hit huge buckets. He had a 7-0 run himself in that game. And I mean, he was crucial down the stretch. He played really well.
Anyway, moving on. Let's look to the future.
Well, real quick, I just want some cool stats that I thought.
Okay, this is going to bore my audience to death. But go ahead.
No. Real quick. Most points scored in a single game by a USA basketball player, Carmelo Anthony with 37. Steph had 36. It was a huge game scoring-wise.
Many people on the internet, just to jump in on that point, said that Melo became the floor general at the end.
Yeah, he was waving off KD, and it was fun.
Many people, because Carmelo Anthony was sitting courtside, and many people said that Carmelo Anthony was getting into it with the Serbian kid Bogdanovic.
Yeah, he did his three-pointer.
He did his three. He was mocking him. And
Bron got upset.
Well, that's what the meme. So this is the meme team. So that's what the memes are saying, that Bron got activated when Bogdanovic started messing with Melo, and that's when he really flipped a switch and went into psycho mode. And then people are saying that everyone just ignored Steve Kerr, the coach, down the stretch and started listening to Melo, coaching them from the sidelines.
I do actually like this idea of the meme team in a positive light. I always looked at it as like there'd be negative memes if they lost, like the LeBron, like, you ever see like LeBron lost with J.R. Smith
Yeah.
to the Golden State Warriors, and he's like, like doing that
Yeah.
face. But I like the meme team in the sense of like that like they're putting out photos, they're putting out a lot of viral stuff.
All right, next stat. Is it going to be about LeBron's triple doubles?
It is going to be about LeBron's triple doubles. Only 4 in the history of the Olympics for men's basketball. 4 of them. LeBron has 2 of them. That was his second one. He's the only one with multiple triple doubles. And what's crazy, he did them 12 years apart,
That's what's crazy.
Which is wild. And Luka Doncic is actually one of the other guys, which is a fun stat. He did it 3 years ago. I mean, you can't say enough about LeBron. When you look at the men's basketball stats on the Olympic website today, LeBron is the leader in points, rebounds, and assists. He is leading them in every metric that, and he's clearly the vocal and pace leader of the team. What a career! What an amazing feather! And then to think he can go out and win gold. And then in 3 months, he'll be playing with Bronny on the Lakers. And he'll do something, again, that no one else has ever done before. It's just like this guy is reinventing ways to just be a legend. It's pretty incredible. Those are my two stats.
He's box office.
Oh, another little side stat, which was cool. KD just became the points leader for Olympic basketball all time. And he hits one of the most clutch shots. Like, that was when Melo was waving everyone away. They needed to go get a bucket. It's like, oh, yeah, let's give the ball to the points leader in USA basketball history.
Okay. I'm very excited for this final game. Do you have any final thoughts?
I think the U.S. wins by 10-plus points. I think that Serbia game charged them up. I think the perspective is here. I think France will put up a good fight. It will be a competitive game. I just think the U.S. won't be down and have to come back. I think they'll just have a comfortable lead the whole time, maybe like 7 to 8, 9 points, but they'll just continue to hold that. And then someone, whether it's LeBron or Steph or KD, or maybe like an Ant Edwards appear and come and just start hitting icing shot. Like they just ice it late to where they stretch it to like a 10-point game. That's what I think is going to happen. But I will say this, after this year, I think this Olympics has proven that the rest of the world is caught up. Serbia is going to come back in 4 years and be really good. Jokic will be a little bit older, but I still think doing what he does, the way he plays, will still be good. You'll have Luka Doncic and their team coming back, and then you'll have France with Wemby, who's 4 years older and better, and France will be a better squad. I think Germany will get better. I think who's the other team? And Canada will have SGA. And I think like a lot of these teams are going to be really good in Los Angeles in 2028. So the USA, I'm curious to see their squad in 4 years. But I just really want to appreciate this last game tomorrow and just soak it up, because it's going to be the last time you see those 3 guys, KD, Steph, and LeBron, probably playing this level of meaningful basketball.
Yep. You texted me yesterday. This is their swan song. So let's just enjoy that game. Looking ahead to 2028, I mean, maybe it was Bill Simmons was saying yesterday that because Tatum was disrespected and not played in this Olympics, maybe he doesn't want to play for Team USA in 2028. Maybe Jaylen Brown, who you might have wanted to play in 2028, maybe because he was disrespected and not even invited to the team at all, maybe he won't play. So it's interesting to see.
That's an interesting thing, but also he's a Boston fan. I think he's just pissed that his Boston guys aren't getting as much love. I think actually the opposite. I think once they see like what it's doing for LeBron, Steph, and KD's legacy, why wouldn't you go, I was on that team with those guys, now it's my turn. And then you come in 4 years and you lead the way and you go get a gold medal and you're like, I'm the next guy in line.
No, Jaylen Brown is mad that he was not on the team. He was tweeting about it.
Okay, maybe Jaylen Brown doesn't play, but I think go out, you get Jalen Brunson. Like we got good players. We just have to craft a really good team. If you had Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum as like your core 3.
No, but then you have Ant and Tyrese.
Ant and Tyrese. I mean, look at that. Like that 5 right there is great. Now go get another 5. And then you'll have younger guys coming up like
Cooper
Flagg, Chet Holmgren. Like you'll have some big, tall guys. I mean, Bam will still be around at 30.
That's
He's
true.
only 26.
I forget that Bam is so young.
Yeah, so I think they'll still have maybe Drew Holiday's a bit older. Derek White, I don't know how old he is, but you might have a few returning guys. I think 4 years is a long enough time for you to shake off like the frustration and then realize that it was MJ to Kobe to LeBron. Who's the next guy? Everyone, it's open now, So
everyone says Ant.
Okay, so maybe it is Ant, maybe it's Tatum, but at least go and give yourself a chance to be in that lineage of greats, of all-time greats.
Lot to look forward to. Can't wait to watch this game tomorrow.
What a game that was. That was amazing. That was my favorite game to watch since 2016 Finals Game 7 when Golden State versus Cleveland, and Cleveland held out to win. That was the game of the block, LeBron's block, the famous Game 7.
Didn't see it.
This was my most fun basketball game since then.
Beautiful.
It was amazing.
All right, everybody. Game is tomorrow. USA, baby. Thanks, Kev.
Let's go.